Today we're trying out Kiora the Rising Tide for the first time. Though Kiora is a 3-mana 3/2. When it enters, you draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, so cast a Careful Study. And then if you have Threshold, when Kiora attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you may make Scion of the Deep, a legendary 8/8 octopus creature token. Simply put, this card's really good if you give it haste. It's really good if you give it haste. It comes down, loots for you, gives you some good card selection. The loot also probably is going to fill you up to get 7 cards if you don't already have 7 cards. And then you get to attack and make an 8/8. This is very powerful, and I think it kind of slots well into the kind of existing Arena of Glory, Detectives Phoenix, FOMO shells we have, or at least like this core. But obviously playing blue instead of green or black like we've been doing. You could maybe play 3 color, but I wanted to start with just Izzet here, so we could play some interaction here in the form of some Spell Snares and Force of Negations. Nice to be able to force the Wandering game 1. Get some Consigns in the sideboard too, which is really nice. I will say that, just Detectives Phoenix, Channeler, FOMO, Kiora, not quite enough creatures, so we're also playing a couple copies of Murktide Regent for top-end threat here. Murktides are like a little weird with 4 Arena of Glories, right? Double blue card, single red card. I don't have any basic mountain, and we're only playing 2 Murktides. I think it's going to be okay to have this just be like turn 3, turn 4 card most of the time, so why we're only playing 2. Although I guess you could play a turn 2. We are a Thought Scour deck. Okay, not too much more to get into. Let's just go ahead and start jamming. Is Murktide better than Oculus? I think so, but I'm not sure. I think it's kind of close. I think so. It's better with FOMO. It seems to be better with Detectives Phoenix too, where you just get to go like 2 mana, Murktide, then Phoenix, hit for a ton in the air all in one go. Although that requires a lot of cards in the graveyard, but this deck is capable of getting a lot of cards in the graveyard. So I think it's better than Oculus. Kind of, I simply put, it's a little bit early to say. Playing 1 Lrien Revealed because I really never want to draw 2, but the fact that this is a sorcery for Murktide and 5 mana value for Phoenix, I think is probably good enough to play the first copy. There's just definitely some stuff going on. Alright, so let's cycle the Wraith first. Alright, and then we're going to Lrien Revealed for a Steam Vents here. Kiora seems super cool. I wish it turned on Hollow One, and I wish you could attack with Octopus the same turn somehow. Yeah, I also wish these things. But we'll take what we can get. Kiora, I think, is very good, despite not being able to do these things for whatever it's worth. So we're kind of hoping, I guess, they main phase of Bowmaster into my Spell Snare. I don't want to Thought Scour in response and then get my Channeler dead to a Bowmaster. Although, we could, in theory, get Delirium and then block. Alright, so we'll cycle the Wraith. This is actually a really good draw because this baits the Bowmaster. Oh, it didn't bait the Bowmaster. Okay. Will this bait the Bowmaster? For your Cauldron Zombies build, did you consider splashing white using Wayward Servant instead of Marionette Apprentice? Look at the Mox field. You'll be pretty happy. We have updated the deck for exactly that. So I have Delirium now, so I think I'm just discarding Steam Vents in this spot. What are these people doing with their Bowmasters? They played around Spell Snare pretty well, I'll say. I think they did okay in this spot. Alright, there's an Amped Raptor. Revealing another copy of Orcish Bowmaster, which is very good against my hand. So I'm taking 3 down to 6. My hand is all cantrips against the second Bowmaster. Shout out to Amped Raptor. No one will ever give you credit for being so dang good. Did I mill over a Phoenix? I did not. Let's go ahead and go to game 2. We did bring in some rough tumbles for game 2, the 4th Unholy Heat. Force of Negation is kind of weird, so it's like, we don't care that much about Blood Moon. We would mostly just want this in for the One Ring. Not sure how many copies we're going to want of that. I think I'm down to go down a Wraith and down a Scour, maybe. Especially with the Rough Tumble, gives you like a lot more Detective's Phoenix fuel. I think in this build I'm going to not want Consign for Ring, especially on the play. Then maybe on the draw we'll play like some number of Consign Force. Consign also gets Static Prison and occasionally in a Johnny flip. Wake with the 60 months. Thank you. Welcome back. It was more why the second draw, not the Street Wraith. Yeah, I don't know. I also would have cast a response to the Street Wraith. I might have Bane phased it in that spot too, if I'm going to be quite honest. Thanks, Wake, for the 16. All right. Channeler. So a lot of types. They do play Thoughtseize in their deck, so we're going to upkeep Bauble them. Raucous Theater. One thing about this deck is you might notice we have no sorceries, and for a while I was really trying to get Preordain or Expressive Iteration in the deck for that reason. I think Iteration sucks, but I'm like, we kind of have to play some sorceries. But then I kind of realized we just don't. We have Kindred, we have Enchantment, we have Artifact. We're actually just doing good enough on our types here. Okay, so we missed our land. We missed our land. Oh, man, what a start. If we find it here, we're definitely in okay shape. We've had 4 looks so far. This is look number 5. Once my opponent finishes tanking on their Surveil here. Oh, they have finished tanking. We're getting some lag. I see in the game log that they have put One Ring into their graveyard. Put the Wall of Roots bug back. Everything became worse once they fixed the Wall of Roots bug. People don't even really play Yogg so much anymore. Put it back. Put it back. I guess we could try restarting. Can't even close. Do I Alt F4? What was the bug? You couldn't remove the 5th Wall of Roots counter and convoke it for Court of Calling. Okay, it just... Alright, okay. We're back. I missed my land. Come on, land! Alright, we'll take it. Doesn't let me hold up the snare. That'll have to be okay. Shook it with a tier 3 for 2 years. Let's go. Alright, let's Tarfire this. 3 cards at their hand at the moment. I'm a bit worried that them graveyarding the ring means they have another copy of the ring. I'm not sure about going for... So they didn't Bowmaster me. Could they just be playing perfectly around Spell Snare again, perhaps? I think if they are just on land ring, the only way I'm really ever beating that is by hitting them for 8 in the air right now. So I think I just am going to do this instead of holding up the snare. It's not like they played a 2-drop on their turn. It's not like they Bowmastered me in response to my draw, right? Yes, they did fix the Wall of Roots bug. Crazy, right? Also in this deck, Rough Tumble I think is clearly better than Pyroclasm because we have access to Unholy Heat to kill bigger Guide of Souls, unlike the Jund deck where we don't. Okay, so they are indeed on land ring, so I'm glad that we took this line. Again, they surveilled a ring into the yard, so we kind of got this inference. Seems like we could scour kind of comfortably here. Another copy of Fear of Missing Out. So I think I'd like to hold up the snare and the heat. My opponent's going down to 6. One thing that's really nice here is that usually I would heat the Guide of Souls before they untapped, so they couldn't respond to the heat with Bowmaster to still gain 2 life. Every life point is very critical for them. But because I have the Spell Snare, I would like for them to Bowmaster in response to the heat, so I'm just going to let them untap. Okay, so I think what I'll do here is I'll heat the Guide of Souls in response. If they Bowmaster, I'll snare the Bowmaster. And then if they don't, I'll snare the Johnny here. Amped Raptor. They hit a copy of Bowmaster here, which might trigger this second copy of FOMO. They have 2 energy in their pool, which is enough to Galvanic Discharge my fear of missing out, but not if I Detective's Phoenix on it first. So I believe we're going to win here. So let's start off just by bestowing another FOMO. I guess I'll get rid of... Oh, we do have 1 sorcery. We have 1 Lrien Revealed, huh? 7 card types total. So they must Galvanic Discharge in response. At which point I could just bestow another Phoenix for the win. Although even just these 2 Phoenixes will be enough because of the ring damage. Okay. So, we're going to game 3 on the draw. I'm going to play, I think, 1 copy of Consign, and maybe 1 copy of Force, and maybe not 1 copy of Force. I'm going to cut a Wraith on the draw. It's just very painful. Oh. This is what I was talking about last night. It's like the Magic Online like lag and like dysfunction is it's like seemingly random and dispassionate. Like this just happened to me a bunch off stream in the evening, and it was happening to me, some of my opponents and some people in the chat. But it hasn't happened to me like on stream yet. But it's just like it just like freezes. It doesn't even lag. It just freezes. Switch back to main window and back. Okay. It's weird that the clock is like ticking down. You have to tab out and it's good. I mean, I'm tabbing out. Maybe I have to like I click something here. Okay. Sometimes I guess that you just have to know how to grease the wheels, huh? Okay. Thank you. How did the Colossus deck go yesterday? We went 5-5. The deck was very fun, and the deck that was doing a lot of powerful things. The deck also we also like just did the thing really consistently, and it seemed pretty powerful. We were 5-5 because we lost to energy 4 times, and the problem is your Metalwork Colossus with a Leyline Axe and a Shadow Spear on it cannot beat 3 Guide of Souls and an Ocelot Pride, which seems to be a big time problem. Yeah, let's just go and surveil this into the yard. How do we solve this big time problem? I don't know yet. Be nice to draw a rough tumble. Gonna main phase the heat so we can get Delirium and dodge Bowmaster. I do want to be filling my graveyard pretty aggressively for Kiora. That being said, I can go Fear of Missing Out, discard Phoenix, exile Unholy Heat, and Street Wraith, and I would still have Delirium because from enchantment, creature, artifact. Yeah, that's probably just a little bit too good to bottom. Couldn't you play the Kozilek Sweeper? That one is 3 mana. Rough Tumble is 2 mana and escapes for Phoenix. What's the big idea? Why do we want to spend an extra mana on a sweeper in our 18 land deck? It's kind of fine. Oh, in the Colossus deck. Splashing a color is very difficult. You could try to play Kozilek's Command. I didn't really have much of a sideboard plan for the matchup. Sure. I'm not giving up. All right, so we get to attack for 8. See how potent their follow-up is. How was Leyline Axe? It was very good with Metalwork Colossus. It was yesterday was kind of exciting and fun and frustrating, where the Colossus deck was seemingly kind of consistent, seemingly kind of powerful, seeming like it has like a lot of room for like tune and refinement. But it just, it's one of these decks that just like energy just gets to outvalue, very casually energy lines up very well against. And this isn't the case for all creature decks. I think like the FOMO Phoenix stuff is a pretty good example of like a strategy that can like race energy, but it was I don't know what to do. It's like at one point we had like a turn 4 Colossus with a Leyline Axe on it and a Shadow Spear on it. We're attacking for 24 doubles, 24 lifelink trample, and we lost the race. We attacked with it like 3 times and we lost that game. It's crazy. Do I have a plan for us today? We're gonna play this, and then we should probably be playing the Zombie Cauldron deck too, but maybe this deck just ends up being so great we'll just keep playing this one. If he does their thing more consistently, I think it's maybe more consistently, sure, but like also that their deck just lines up well against 10-10s, I guess. Could you run extra Shadow Spears or Splash Tutors to find the one of? Okay, well you have Saga to tutor the one of. The finding Shadow Spear is not the problem in the matchup. We found the Shadow Spear. We equipped Layla and Axe to it. We equipped Shadow Spear to it. We attacked them like 3 times with a 24 power lifelink trampler, and we lost. So they're targeting me. It's kind of unfortunate that is this a May? It's not a May. So if I want, I mean, Rough Tumble would be just such an insane top deck. I drew second Unholy Heat. I've already used my Surveil land. Doesn't seem like I have much to do besides this. Togo, thank you for the raid. When does Foundations drop? It not only has it dropped, I have a Foundations card in my hand right now. So my opponent's at 3 life. If they attack me for 4 and then they sack 3, I'm down to 2. So if I kill Bowmaster, I take 1 down to 8 immediately, then 3 more down to 5, then 2 more down to 3. So I'm dead to a Flage. I guess I'm dead to Flage either way. I'm dead to a Bolt if I don't. I'm dead to a Bolt if I target Bowmaster, and I'm not dead to a Bolt if I target this. I feel like they could kind of realistically have a Bolt in their hand because we didn't give them a window to bolt this. So to me, it seems like playing around that makes some sense. This doesn't mean I'm just not gonna be able to cast the Kiora because of the whole Bowmaster situation unless I top deck a removal spell. Are we dead to Bowmaster plus nothing? No, I guess Bowmaster plus Bolt does get me. So this puts me down to 4. I am dead to Lightning Bolt. I tried to play around it. So they have Galvanic Discharge then. Why am I dead to Flage? You get 4+4. I was dead to Flage, I believe. Maybe I misread something. I don't know. We're here now. Okay. It seems that I need to just play a Channeler and pass. I'm dead if I don't do that. We are learning Kiora is not very good against Orcish Bowmaster. Did they punch? Should they have sacrificed Artifact and then cast second Bowmaster? Well, it's the same amount of damage, right? Because the Bowmaster, the token that they wouldn't have sacked wouldn't have dealt damage to me. And now they have a 2/2 instead of a 1/1. So I think it was better this way. It would have been the same amount of damage. You think I'm dead anyways. I am dead anyways. I am dead anyways. Close game. Could have put them to 1. Tough start. Okay, we're on the draw. Zini with the 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. My opponent reveals a Devourer of Destiny. They exile a Stirrings, a Sprawl, and a Forest, and they play an Eldrazi Temple. So this is the kind of matchup game one that you sincerely do not want to lose the die roll against. You very much want to win the die roll and race game one, then like have your lean on your consigns post board. Didn't want to draw the Unholy Heat, so we get to scour it away at least. I put it ever gonna. Okay. Not a turn 2 Thought Not Seer, but scared of turn 2 K command X equals 2. They also reveal a Breaker of Creation here. Should be worth hasting the FOMO. Obviously, if they have Kozilek's Command, we're kind of in bad shape no matter what, and I think we need to get some pressure on them, so we're going to try to hit them for 4 this turn. Any Raise the Past Brews? Not yet. That's a card I'm going to get to, I think, after a little bit. Zine with the 9 months, thank you, welcome back. Yeah, just not a card I want to start with, I guess. They seem to have the Kozilek's Command. If I only had enough money to build one deck, which would I choose? Paper, Arena, or Magic Online? Me? The guy who streams on Magic Online and really only plays Magic Online? I'd pick Magic Online. That's what I would do. I played Paper Limited a couple weeks ago in Vegas, and that was the extent of that was the extent of my paper gaming in the last 6 months. So they exiled FOMO and exiled Phoenix and one other card, the Bauble. That must mean that their hand is quite strong if they can afford to not make spawns or scry draw on this spot, which is bad news. There's a Myco spawn. They get basic Forest? Is that going to rumble? Utopia Sprawl. 4, so they have 7 mana next turn, 8 if they hit their land drop. So they're kicking another Myco spawn. They're exiling my Steam Vents instead of my Arena of Glory. Seems like I should probably Surveil land instead of Tarfire. Tarfire does give me, for sure, Delirium. I think I'd Graveyard that. We do have Delirium now. So if I draw Kiora, I'll be unhappy that I Unholy Heated an upkeep. If I Surveil into Force of Negation, I might be happy if they are somehow on Ring. I guess it doesn't seem that likely. Let's just go ahead and draw. I think the Kiora thing is going to be enough for me. Okay, get in for 3 and pass the turn. They have a land they can play this Breaker of Creation. Obviously, would love for them to cast a Rumble into my Snare. Feels like a daydream. Another Sowing Myco spawn. Why would you want Unholy Heat on upkeep? So if we Unholy Heat on upkeep, we get to Surveil from the Dragon Rage's Channeler also on our upkeep. This would allow us to potentially draw something good and proactive to do in a game where we desperately need something good and proactive to do. Did I see the list for this archetype by commenting on Blue Sky? I did not know, sorry. Alright. Kiora, Murktide no longer castable. Doesn't seem like this Force of Negation is what we need. Opponent just not attacking with the Myco spawns ever, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to shock in this for this here. I mean, I think I'm just actually going to scoop to my opponent being able to cast Breaker of Creation with Sanctum of Ugin. I think that's actually just enough for me. All right. Consign to Memory is good against Eldrazi. This is your tip of the day. I'm going to bring in the Charmaw too, just one of Charmaw. I'm going to bring in the 3rd Force of Negation. I think I want to play 1 Spell Snare. And then let's go down to Tarfire. So like one thing about this deck is like Delirium is like we don't need to get 6 types like we do when we play Flytrap. We only need to get 4 types. In some ways, we care more about quantity of cards in yard because of Kiora and Murktide, so you don't need this quite as much. You're a Blue Sky enjoyer. Yeah, I mean, I've liked Blue Sky so far. To some extent, Blue Sky is. It feels like maybe how Facebook felt in like when you were like a teenager, or like it's an early social media that has like basically no ads. I haven't seen an ad on it. I haven't seen any bots. I haven't seen any like trolls. I haven't seen anybody. It's been very like relaxed over there, and so that's really nice. I feel like a lot of like smaller social medias are always like this. They're just really good, and then everybody then when they get popular, they get ruined. So I'm kind of like it right now. And it's I think it's cool that like the Magic community has somewhat like adopted the. One second, I'm just gonna scour now. Has someone adopted the program? There's like just a million Magic the Gathering people on there, but I don't exactly foresee it lasting like this forever. So, but right now it's pretty good. Yeah. Yes, Devoid cards are colorless on the stack. Isn't Blue Sky just Twitter before Elmo took over? It's not. I mean, it is like just so explicitly a Twitter clone. I don't really know how like the copyright laws work for this kind of stuff, but I also just don't know that like this is something that can last forever. But yeah, I recommend making an account, especially if you want to see like Magic content, because there's just like almost everybody's over there now too. Do you think a few Kiora and Dimir Oculus might be good? It might be good, but I would think that for the most part, Kiora is a card that you really want to pair with Arena of Glory. I don't know that I'm a little scared to play it, just trying to unearth it, but I do kind of like that you can go Kiora, loot away an Oculus, then unearth an Oculus, or you can like unearth a Kiora, loot something like double unearth in the same turn. I do like that. Okay, so they rumble into a Forest or a Misty, milling over a Kozilek's command. Yeah, you could play Grixis potentially. You could also haste Oculus with Arena of Glory, so like there is that. Why is it worth it to exert your land there? That's 4 damage. 4 damage. It is worth it. I will in a matchup where I'm explicitly the aggro deck. I'm happy to trade 4 damage for this land being tapped next turn, especially when I'm likely just holding up Consign, or potentially I'm gonna go. I guess I'd have to draw another Street Wraith for me to bestow Phoenix. Maybe I could bestow Phoenix just for mana efficiency. Let's see what we draw. We draw a Channeler. Okay, now that makes things much easier. I think Pyganti just topped it with Kiora. I mean, it's good news. Was he playing Dimir? This is just our second match with Kiora too. 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a kicked Mycospawn. I don't know if I'm doing anything with this. It's a ring-a-ding-ding. Do not Veil of Summer me. I could not handle it. Alright, thank you, opponent. A Grixis version of Oculus Sun's hot. Focus on the Oculus version with a mild black splash. Well, the focus on the Oculus version with a black splash is kind of a weird thing to say, maybe, because it's like the Oculus version at the moment is the black deck, so you would be splashing red, maybe? I don't know. Like, Arena of Glory and Psychic Frog do not play well together either. This is another issue. Think on the draw. No, actually, Spell Snare on the draw is kind of weird, because if they just go Labyrinth into Talisman, it doesn't do anything. But I would be interested in snaring some Rumbles on the draw. Only I have 1 at the moment. I think this is probably fine to just play the 1 snare. I meant blue-red Oculus with a black splash for Unearth and other cute stuff. Yeah, I think I agree that we could build the deck that way. I agree we could build the deck that way. You know, we're in day 2. This is our second match with Kiora. Lost a very tight 1 to Mardu Energy. There's a lot to do. So my opponent didn't play a Talisman. I think I should be playing this Channeler this turn. I think it is very, very close. I'm kind of scared of being rumbled next turn and like not being able to snare. But you can't be afraid. No. Why would you show me that Mishra's Bauble? No. Should I have played around that? Maybe. We hit an enchantment creature, we can get Delirium here. How does it take this long to cast the Kozilek's command? Okay, I'm gonna play Kiora. No Arena of Glory to make an 8/8 this time. With Trinisphere, with Trinisphere, you cannot replicate Consign twice for 3 mana. Yes, you cannot. You have to pay the 3 mana up front. I guess maybe I should discard the Snare just to have like more instants and sorceries of the yard for the Murktide. Don't know that we can ever beat an opponent who thinks here. Who has just too many good options. Maybe the hand is all Utopia Sprawls and Talismans, and they're thinking about the best way to deploy them. That could possibly be the case. BMF with the 17 months. Thank you. Welcome back. You're doing well today. Okay, my opponent Kozilek's commands to exile my Phoenix and exile the Kiora. I can't help but feel that this was not so bad for me. Let's hold up the Consign this turn. It'll help me grow the Murktide. Maybe I could have shocked this in for Replicate if they had Myco Spawn. I'm pretty sure you can replicate twice for 3 with Trinisphere. I guess we'll find out, huh? If they play a Myco Spawn or find out at all. Okay, 3 mana Utopia Sprawl. That is good news. We're 1 month and 3 days away from being freed by the corruption of the ring. Okay, I don't care about this. We'll see. Oh, sorry. I should probably have snared it though. I should probably have snared it. All this stops is my Phoenix Exile though. If they play Rumble, I'll snare the Rumble. Like this is just not. I'm just gonna cast Phoenix from hand. This card is just not gonna do anything against me, basically. Another Trinisphere. Okay, that can resolve too. Are we gonna win this game? Replicate happens before Trinisphere. Okay, that is great to know. Dude, Consign is so well designed. It's like the best designed Image 3 card. I want the ring to be banned also in December. I'm just worried that everybody is setting themselves up for disappointment by acting like it's some foregone conclusion that Wizards is going to ban it. You know what I mean? Like, let's hope. I think I agree the format would be better without it at this point. So might as well replicate twice, huh? Yeah, well, Wizards likes to do things at random. Arena of Glory would be crazy. We could haste this Murktide and haste the FOMO and attack with the both. Arena of Glory would be crazy. Arena of Glory would be crazy. Clip it! Clip it, dude. Okay, so we discard the Spell Snare to the FOMO. Oh! Okay, do we Murktide or do we Kiora? Probably Murktide here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a 7 set. Yeah, we get to attack for 14 with it. And then this is just going to make it to where the ring is not a good draw. Oh no, I lost Delirium. I lost Delirium. Maybe Kiora was better? I don't know. This is probably still better though. It's just punishing the One Ring is just so important. Yeah, Delve does get around Sphere, but we wanted to spend the red mana to haste it. Okay, so they have another Myco spawn. This is good news. I probably get to hit them with this. I can get an enchantment in the yard by discarding Fear of Missing Out to Fear of Missing Out. Drop my water bottle. Instead, let's hold up Consign. Wow, we won. Okay, maybe celebrating a little early, but it's going to be tough to lose with this as the top deck. We saw that this Trinosphere, I'm like, oh no, we could never win. I think if our opponent had like Scryed drawn with this, it also would have been just like so much harder. Instead of exiling my Phoenix. BK Burger, Twitch Prime, thank you, welcome back. Appreciate you. Discard FOMO, Consign to Kiora was lethal. Okay, there's a Trinosphere in play. But yeah. I feel bad charging everybody $5 a month for the rest of their life, but unfortunately that is the price. Well, let's try this one. I'd love to draw an Arena of Glory. I'm gonna keep. We have 4 looks at our second land. At least. Could draw more of these. Could draw DRC. My opponent's played a tapped Hallowed Fountain. So, assuming nothing significant changes about my hand, I'm going to cycle Street Wraith before I do anything else, because if I draw Channeler, then I get the Bauble Surveil. I guess also if I draw a fetch land, I get to do the classic fetch land scry trick. And why, yes, I would like to draw Arena of Glory for my Kiora. Thank you very much, deck. So we're going to have 2 cards in our graveyard right now. We need to get to 5 cards in our graveyard when we cast the Kiora if we want to make a token. Do we get to snare something here? We do get to snare something here, something pretty good too. I think I'm going to get another Steam Bends. I don't think my life total is going to be under the most duress. And it looks like because we can cast the FOMO, we are going to be able to get up to enough types in the yard for the Kiora. I guess I discard Arena of Glory. That's a little weird. In this spot, we want to Arena our Kiora, of course. We want to make an 8/8 next turn. My opponent's played a tap land, a White Orchid Phantom. I do have 1 basic in the deck. Only 1 is going to be potentially scary against the White Orchid Phantom list, though. They also have a first striker that gets to block my Kiora this turn. I think that's going to be okay because I just have another Kiora and I just get my 8/8, so that's probably going to be fine. So we draw 2 first, which is also nice. Okay, so let's discard an Arena of Glory, and I think I want to keep the well, I guess I can't haste the Murktide, huh? Maybe I should discard Kiora because I'm gonna get the Octopus. It would be good to be able to back up Octopus. Okay, we'll discard the Heat if they like to fairy this turn or something. Okay, so they Sol to the Kiora, so this is also nice. They pitch another copy of White Orchid Phantom. That also could be good because I don't have any more basics in my deck. This Bant Birthing Ritual deck is interesting. I feel like I need to maybe give a crack at it at some point. We'll see, I guess. Uh-oh. I feel like this attack is Birthing Ritual or Ephemerate. Oh, okay. It's fine. Well, we didn't come here to not do this. Loot again. The loot is so nice also. Okay, discard Phoenix for value. That's awesome. So if I want to haste a Murktide Regent next turn, I need to keep Steam Vents in my hand. And then I can go Tarfire into haste. So yeah, I guess I discard the second Murktide. Is your hand second Solitude and another white card? It is. Exiling another White Orchid Phantom, though. We'll take it. We'll take it. I could also Detectives Phoenix my Murktide Regent potentially. I think that's going to be better. I could just exile the other Murktide. I'm going to go ahead and Tarfire first. And maybe I should Unholy Heat also. How many is that? 1, 2, 3 instance? Yeah, we'll heat. Oh, no, sorry. I need this mana for the Phoenix. Getting a little ahead of myself, I guess. Okay, so we'll exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attack you for 8. Shardless Agent. This hits them a copy of White Orchid Phantom. Bad News Bears. They hit the 4th Phantom, and this shows them I don't have any more basics. I would love for them to not have that info going into game 3. They might have even like boarded out their Phantoms. What can you do? They've got no cards in their hand. I'm just gonna. Sorry, I forgot this is flying. Gonna kill this real quick. Okay, it's a game 2 we go. The draw against Bant Birthing Ritual. I'm glad to have all of these spell snares. These decks are very weird. Rough Tumble doesn't kill Phantom. I think they also played Teferi. Maybe a Force of Negation could be good. Snare seems quite strong. I don't know how good these removal spells are against them. Obviously I want some of them. But I feel like all their creatures just kind of cantrip and they're not that good. I think I'm just going to go down here. Against a bunch of ETB triggers, we want Consign. Yeah, I mean, we can consign Shardless Agent. We can consign Phantom ETB. We can consign Birthing Ritual in the turn. That's not so strong. I think we can consign Solitude ETB. Yeah, I just think the shocks are not all that good. I agree. Some consigns can get in here. Maybe this is too many forces. Maybe just 2-2 split. I'd be playing Rough Tumble so hard. I mean, it doesn't kill Phantom. It kills Shardless Agent. Solitude. What else does it kill? I don't know that it kills much. Voice of Resurgence, the front half. I don't know that that means this is a Rough Tumble game, but maybe it is. A little late on this. I think I just Graveyard. Graveyarding this lets me Phoenix next turn. Right, Graveyard is Skyclave. Their top card is a basic plane. All right, basic planes. As scared of Ephemerate as I am, I think I'm gonna Phoenix this turn. Well, I guess it's the same amount of damage actually, and I could just play around the Ephemerate, so maybe that doesn't make sense, huh? And now we find Kiora on top. The next turn, haste the Kiora and loot away 2 Phoenixes for value. It's just like +2 cards, 8/8, 3 damage. Hopefully. So hoping not to see another Phantom. It's Voice of Resurgence. Deal. Okay, y'all, I know that you sack this for Birthing Ritual, you get a trigger. This card could not be the truth. I don't know. Not a believer. I would like to be, though. Alright. Best Kiora so far. They have a Birthing Ritual on top, potentially kind of scary. Do you have a Solitude? If so, Kiora is just kind of like a 4-for-1 here. They pitch Sarah Paragon. Yeah, Kiora basically +2 cards, and then they go -2 cards. So we're probably going to go FOMO and then haste to FOMO with a Detective's Phoenix. I'm not going to do that. I still have Delirium, thankfully. What did I do to have to get paired into the Sanctifier and Vec Gamer? Make fun of Voice of Resurgence one time? I won't do that again. Seems like a rough tumble board to me. Do we care about this card and this card? Woohoo! Rough Tumble kills Agent and Elemental Token. Neither card that does anything. I'm gonna grab a Solitude here. They do grab a Solitude. I think I'm gonna heat the Agent to slow them down a little bit. Shrinks the Elemental Token. Kiora to the rescue. Is there? Yeah, you could build a Goryo's Kiora deck, I think. Where Kiora is good to ephemerate. She's good to as a looter, and she also you can Goryo's her, of course. Do I have to shuffle? Okay, I don't have to shuffle. And this also can't block, which is good news. That being said, we are probably going to lose this game. Is it ever worth it to gore as a 3-mana creatures? Sometimes, yeah. It's obviously not ideal. It's not what you would prefer to do, but it will be correct sometimes. All right, let's go to game 3. Okay, so being able to play makes it much easier to snare Sanctifier, in theory at least. They didn't seem like they were playing that much more than just the birthing rituals as Force of Negation targets post-board, so I'm actually going to go down on these. I think I'm going to go up a Heat and up a Consign, and then click Submit. Got a lot of card selection with this hand, but hard to say how good it'll be. We knew about the Solitude. We didn't know about the white card though. Okay, I think I'm gonna mill over that. Hoping to draw some creatures. 3 looks. Scour. Bauble. Okay, well, more of this, I guess. Sorry, I guess I should have bobbled myself first, but yeah, I kind of can't afford to draw another land here. Nice, great draw. But I should have probably just like looked at my top card, played the fetch, and cast the FOMO, discarded this. That being said, next turn I can just go FOMO Phoenix next turn. Should be pretty reasonable. Yeah, no snares, unfortunately. Graveyard's looking pretty full. Hopefully no Sanctifier and Vac. Why are they shocking, Ed? Bit odd. Alright, so can I FOMO and Phoenix and maintain Delirium? It doesn't seem like I can, actually. I can exile 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm a little short, so let's just start off with Fear of Missing Out, discard the Phoenix. We've drawn another copy of Channeler, so I think I'm going to Heat instead of Tarfire, since it seems like everything dies to shock. This can go face. That seems to be upside. Yeah, I should keep this so that I get to cycle the Fear of Missing Out next turn, potentially, if I'm not Phoenixing. How did Standard go? I mean, I didn't get to play test last night. I know that this was the plan, but because I started the stream so late last night, I wanted to do some resetting. I'm going to start playing Standard tonight. Okay, so we get Stone Rained here. Do I want to keep this FOMO on top? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I can go Channeler and then bestow onto the new Channeler. And the next turn I can go Tarfire FOMO, so I think this is going to be fine to keep. So I can go bestow and then maintain Delirium. That's what I meant to say. So exile FOMO, and I just keep the Tarfire in the yard. Exile Consign, Scour, Heat. Graveyard. It's kind of close. The thing is, I want to go FOMO plus Tarfire next turn. Yeah, I think with no Arena of Glory anymore, ours got killed. We say no. Also, if they don't have Solitude, they're dead. So that's some good news here. Oh, I always keep forgetting this has flying. They don't have Solitude. They go to 2, and I have a Tarfire in my hand. So this is good news, I think, that I chose to Heat earlier instead of the Tarfire. How did the Zula Sheer deck go? We have not played it yet. Okay, bouncing back from our loss to Mardu earlier. All right. Close, but no cigar. Isn't RCQ standard now? I don't know. I haven't played an RCQ in a long time. You would think I know, as someone who plays Magic for a living, but I do not. Sorry. Okay, I cast a Channeler, passed the turn. Yeah, it's been a while since we've played Izzet anything. Played Grixis Wizards the other day. Young Wolf. Is this Yogg or is this the weird deck? Hard to say. So my opponent reveals an Agatha's Soul Cauldron or 2 green fetches. They choose the Cauldron, not too surprising. The weird black-green deck. Yes, there is a black-green rock deck that is not playing Yawgmoth, but it's playing Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Sometimes Young Wolf... Like, where we're at is... this Young Wolf does not mean we're playing against Yawgmoth. This is just... There's just this weird Grist deck that people are playing. This weird Cauldron Grist deck that I think looks not very good. But a lot of people are playing it. Okay, so we only have 3 types at the moment. No fetch lands yet. I guess we Scour instead of FOMO right now. There's Delirium. Yeah, I don't exactly know how to describe this deck. It's been very confusing for me. This Force of Negation is a incredible pickup though. Just trying to fill the yard so I can potentially FOMO Phoenix next turn. I guess I would maybe keep maybe I should have kept the island on top. Fulminator Mage Culture. But the thing is, all the builds are like a little different. Some people play Young Wolf. Some people play Fulminator Mage. Some people play Shieldred. Basically, nobody is playing Yawgmoth, even the Young Wolf gamers, which is just so confusing to me. I feel like these decks are good against Jeskai and Dimir and probably nothing else. Okay, so my opponent is choosing to go after the Detective's Phoenix instead of deploying the Cauldron. What's the win rate against the green-black deck across various decks look like? So, maybe one reason for my fervor here, for my angst, is that I've done a lot of off-stream, like, brewing, like, artifact and enchantment decks. Like, I was playing an Enchantress, a Simic Enchantress deck that was built around the Eerie 3-drop and built around Amphibian Downpour, which I thought was pretty fun and pretty cool, but I digress. But they do play a million disenchants. Like Agatha's Soul Cauldron plus Haywire Might has been very good against all of my brews. So this is part of my not understanding and my angst is They do play a ton of disenchants, so they're good against like my random my random brews a lot of the time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this arena. I like the Brood Scale combo version. Yeah, I the Brood Scale gives you a plan, but these decks just don't seem like they can beat too much non-artifact enchantment based combo. But maybe I'm just wrong, and like maybe that's like all the combo that exists at the moment. Is Consign good here? They are a ring cauldron deck, so some number of consigns are probably going to get in. Yeah. There's two. One's a rock deck and there's a brood scale variant. Well, I don't know if we can even say that there's two, because like the brood scale variants have there's variants on variants, and the rock builds have a million variants too. Like, is this two decks? I don't know. To me, it feels like it's a lot more. Okay, my opponent has a cauldron. They're deciding to pass the turn. I don't know exactly what this means. But I guess I've also maybe kind of made a mistake here, because if I haste the FOMO, I don't have anything. I can't force. Although I was kind of thinking I would get to force a ring or a cauldron this turn, so I guess it's not really a mistake so much. I can also probably just hardcast force on something. I guess not, huh? Maybe this is just actual Yogg. Main deck endurance is tough to run into. Okay, so they only have... I'm snap blocking. This is probably a pretty poor block attack on their part. But now I can discard the Murktide to the fear of missing out, and I can bestow Phoenix. And it seems like I should try to surveil for a blue card for force also. Which that is not. I don't know if there's going to be any way for me to get Delirium for lethal here. I did find the blue card, so can't be too upset. Because the enchantment comes out, I go down to 3 types again. So will our opponent chump block with the endurance? They probably will, instead of go to 1. They're not a very good go to 1 deck. These green black decks are just a ploy from Big Yawgmoth to get people to stop assuming they're on Yogg. Yeah, maybe. I just saw the tension between the Bauble and Bestow. Unfortunate tension. Just that Bauble doesn't bestow with Phoenix. I don't know that I would necessarily call that tension, but maybe. Might not be super inaccurate. An interesting way to frame it. I'm going to save this force for the cauldron we know about. They find a Young Wolf, 2 Bowmasters, or a Wall of Roots. They choose Young Wolf. Untapped Overgrown Tomb going down to 2 life points. Yeah, this is probably a ploy so they can Cauldron and exile the Phoenix, but thankfully our last 2 cards are Force of Negation, blue card. Weird to be on this side of things. We also have Delirium now, probably not the most relevant. And we win game 1 against Yogg. Alright, I'm going to bring in an Unholy Heat. Consign can stop not only Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but also Undying triggers, Endurance triggers. Mostly those. Ring if they're playing Ring. I don't know if Yogg is on Ring at the moment. I probably would not play Ring and Yogg at the moment. This seems like I should probably Grist delayed triggers. Oh, the Grist minus. Yeah, the Grist minus is like... You can consign that, right? It's very odd. I think I want to play 1 copy of Force of Negation. 2 copies of Consign. I think I'd like to trim 2 Scours. Rough Tumble for sure. We want to play Rough Tumble for sure. Rough Tumble is good against Delighted Halfling. It can sometimes clean up a Bowmaster, but Bowmaster sometimes has done the damage already. I don't know that this is a Rough Tumble for sure. It seems to be good against Halfling and Bowmaster, and that's kind of the end of the list, right? It's not very good against Young Wolf. Lrien Revealed is worse than Wraith. Lrien Revealed is your 18th land. Would you ever board out your 18th land against Yawgmoth? I don't think so. If you would, you are operating on a higher level than me. But for me, that's just like not a starter. These stream titles are 3 cards that don't belong together. They don't. Come on. You belong with me. Kiora, FOMO, Murktide. So because I have the snare, if I Street Wraith end of turn, I would love for them to Bowmaster into me, so I'm not going to cycle the Wraith now. A little bit worse if I draw Bauble. They just have so many random small dudes that it feels worth. I mean, this is a vibe-based sideboard-based decision, but I feel like we talked about why we don't want to have the Wraiths in, and I feel like after talking it out, doesn't it seem like it's probably better to not have them? I'm going to play a FOMO here. Discard a Murktide. Up with Phoenix. I took a work call when the endurance blowout happened. You come back and you won game 1. Was it a comeback? I don't know if I felt super behind ever. I mean, the endurance was very good, but we were just so ahead there that it felt like we were kind of even at that point, honestly. 3rd Young Wolf and a Walking Ballista walk into a bar. 3rd Kiora walks into my hand. Could his deck afford to run more Lrien Reveals? I don't think so. Like, maybe we should just play the Murktide. I think it's okay to hold up mana, though. I don't think so. I really, really, really never want to draw 2. And you're not going to draw 2 very often if you have to, but you can't draw 2 if you only have 1. I don't even necessarily want to draw the first copy that often either. They target me. So if I attack with the Sphere of Missing Out, my opponent can triple block, and then they can just attack me for 6. So that's probably not going to be actually something that lines up well for Ol Aspiring Spike, They play a tap land. I do feel like they're kind of itching to deploy Yawgmoth. I don't think they have Chord. They could have Chord. I think I should play a Kiora. I think it is kind of close between this and the Murktide. We have occupied people. Kiora has been pretty good, although she's been actually worse this game, I'll say. I'm going to discard the other 2. Given that I only ever play Singleton, I see now why I'm not wary of drawing a second Lrien Revealed. Yeah, I mean, one-ups are pretty valuable to some extent. Like, there are cards that you just, like, you know, do want to draw 1 copy of, and you don't want to draw 2 copies of. And I should be playing more Singletons in general. I have a Singleton Undead Augur in the zombie list for later for the same reason. Like, I'm happy to draw 1. I'm not really happy to draw the second very often. Let's play the first copy. I feel like there was another example of this recently, but I just feel like I need to be doing more of that. Okay, we are probably going to die here. My opponent should likely be able to draw into land plus Court of Calling for 2. My opponent decides to not go for that. Okay, well, can I Murktide and Detective's Phoenix? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 instants or sorceries in my graveyard. And then I could just exile the Murktide Regent to grow here. So can I keep Delirium? Delirium keeping isn't that important because the FOMO can just die here, but I mean, it would be nice to have the option. So let's say I exile all the instants and sorceries. I would still have land, creature, artifact. That doesn't seem like enough types to me. So I could leave one instant in the yard for the threat of delirium. I don't think that that really makes sense because they could just kill the FOMO. So hopefully this gets to put them down to 6. It's going to be much harder for them to dig for their combo pieces at 6. Although they may just have a court already, you know. At which point there's not a lot we could have done except tried to keep delirium. I guess maybe my thinking was wrong. Okay, they just have the blood arrows, so we were dead no matter what. But maybe my thinking was wrong because like if I do exile one less instant, I can make them kill the FOMO, which is 3 more damage. So it's net 2 more damage. And maybe they mess up too, but that probably shouldn't matter too much. Okay, let's go to game 3. Could have snared. I guess it's just like so much more likely that they have Court of Calling instead of the Blood Artist. All right, let's try this one. Being able to on turn 3 loot away 2 Phoenixes with Kiora seems kind of nice. Would maybe mulligan this on the draw. I'm going to Surveil, actually. So unless I draw a Bauble or a Wraith, I'm not going to be able to make an 8/8 next turn. But I'll still cycle the Lrien Revealed to draw to that, and then I don't know. Am I supposed to Tarfire them to draw to that too? It seems kind of like a spew to throw away the Tarfire. But the upside of making the 8/8 this turn is also very high. So what do y'all think? If I Tarfire them, I have 3 looks at 8 cards. We can actually calculate this. This is a good, I think, knowledge increasing moment. Okay, so we have 49 cards in our deck here. We have a sample size of 3 cards, and then we have 12 cards that let me make an 8/8 with Kiora next turn. I just need 1. We're favored to hit. Favored to hit. I think 57% is going to be enough for me to cast the Tarfire here. Which is interesting, like the math shows to Tarfire, because my instinct was not to Tarfire. My instinct was to just hold it. And seems like instinct's better than math. Alright, so we're one short of making our Octopi. We can make Octopi next turn. Opponent keeping a very slow hand on the draw here. So it was Bauble, Street Wraith, what else? That's it. But we have 8 copies total of Bauble or Street Wraith because we haven't drawn one. So if we draw any copy of Bauble or Street Wraith, oh my gosh. I need to play the fetch land here because now they could just Cauldron me off of Threshold. Unless I draw Bauble or Street Wraith. Dante with the raid. Hope you're doing well. Sorry about this. Then I type 12. I type 12? Oh, no. I meant to type 8. Maybe you should have led on Arena turn 2 so fetch got us. I mean, I should have played the fetch this turn. This was another blunder, unfortunately. I think that I'm going to still just attack and hold up Snare or Consign. I think they're a little bit too valuable. I cannot Consign the Cauldron. It's an activated ability, unfortunately. Thank you, Dante, for the raid. Hope you're doing well today. Appreciate you. So I guess yeah. Problem, also user error. They get a basic Swamp end of turn. And then they cast a Fatal Push. Okay. Yeah, you can Consign the +1 counter, I think. Or no, I can't. Is it a trigger? Win. Yeah, I guess it is a trigger. I don't think I'm going to Consign a +1 counter on a halfling here. maybe discarding Consign to fear of missing out. I probably should have played around the Endurance. I just kind of felt like if they had it, they would have played it a turn earlier. Maybe it was a bit too telegraphed. Like if they had Endurance, I feel like they would have played it last turn, right? Instead of just cauldroning. But maybe that's just not a good attitude. I was definitely discarding Snare. I don't know. There's just like they got Bowmaster, they can have Cauldron, they can have Rumble, they have Wall of Roots, they just have so many twos. Alright, we're gonna go face, I think. Which is gonna be tough with the Endurance, but it feels like they drew it that turn. Yeah, I think that that's kind of likely, which is, you know, what are you gonna do? I think I'm gonna concede at this point. It's not a super winnable game. There would have been way more winnable if I just kept up the Consign. Would have been way more winnable if I played the fetch. A couple little mistakes there. Really added up. Good to bring in some counter spells post board, but we're mostly hoping to go fast game one. If this is still Belcher, of course. This hand looks fast enough, though. GG Adam. Opponent is still Belchin. Cycle first, because if we draw a Street Wraith, or sorry, Bauble, we can Surveil. How's the gym been lately? It's been good. I've switched to a kind of different schedule where I go 2 days on, 2 days off. And today is supposed to be my rest day, but I have like a game meeting tomorrow, so I might rest tomorrow instead and just immediately pivot the schedule. But no, it's been really good. I've been doing 8 or 9 exercises a day instead of 6 or 7, like the last couple weeks, which has been pretty good. I feel like my opponent is going to cast the counter unless you pay 1 card. So as tempting as it is to haste the Sphere of Missing Out, I feel like I am just going to cast FOMO instead. And kind of expected to be countered unless you paid 1 or counterspelled. Yeah, I agree that the gym schedules need to be flexible. That's very true. It's okay. Yeah, definitely a lot of decision points, which I always like. Yeah, so next turn I might just cast Kiora instead of hasting it. Then I can double haste FOMO on turn 4. So 11, and then these are basically both +5 damage. So yeah, I do have lethal next turn. If my opponent goes like counter this, untap, play Belcher, and if they just tap out to play Belcher and they don't have Pact of Negation or Shoal, kind of crazy. That can be 2 cards, I guess. Should be okay. Yeah, I've not built a Drake Catcher deck. But yeah, we have a lot to get to. A new set came out. You know, it's going to be a while before another set comes out. We're going to take our time. Okay, so my opponent doesn't counter or chooses not to counter. Unclear which that was. What's cool here is either FOMO is also now lethal. They're both +5 damage. So my opponent would need to counter both of them. Also, they have lost 3 more life here, so we should be pretty good. A while before a new set comes out, Copium. I don't know. I mean, I definitely engage in the game in a pretty different way, I think, than most people do, but I am someone who directly benefits and directly enjoys a faster release schedule. I think I'm in a pretty unique spot where I'm like, you know, always dying for new cards to build around, always dying for new content, and then because they're standard sets, I get like 5 to 10 cards to play with every 2 months, and this is like a really this is a really manageable amount for me. If anything, like I could definitely handle more, but 5 to 10 cards every couple of months is fine. For people who engage more with other formats, I can see it be a bit more overwhelming. CPB with the tier 1 for 6 months in advance. Let's go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We have not played Zombies yet. We're going to play it today. I don't know if I'm going to play it after this league or if I'm going to do another league of this. I guess we should probably do a poll. But we are up a game here against Belcher, playing for the 3-2. Now, I do want Unholy Heat to be able to kill Tamashi. Maybe even play a Lantern or two. I think I want to trim a Snare. Yeah, but you have a lot of 2-drops. All the creatures and counter unless you pay 1. I guess you would never snare that, but you could also snare X equals 2 shoal. No, you can't. Only an X equals 0 shoal. Okay, I'm going to trim a Snare. Play 1 Lantern, I think. 3 Heats, not 4. Have we tried the new Zombify card yet? I don't know what card you're talking about. Zombify is not a particularly playable modern card, so just let me know what the name of the card is, I guess. Okay, we have a Consign, which is great. We don't have any blue mana, which is bad. Probably going to go to 6. I could handle Mar, Aspiring Spike, don't put this into the world. What do you want me to do, huh? What, you want me to ban the ring? I mean, I have no influence, I think, over what Wizard says or does. I thought maybe that they would like that's so silly, but I made that YouTube video talking about how scheduled BNRs are so bad for modern and they're so bad for formats in general, and I feel so passionately about this, and they're so committed to just doing scheduled BNRs forever, it seems. I don't think we're ever going to get as needed BNRs again, which just makes formats so much worse. And it also makes like the stream environment a lot worse too. It's just such a net negative. All right, let's keep this on top. If they pitch cast a shoal, you can snare. So if they pitch cast X equals 2, the mana value is 4. It's a little odd, yeah. Yeah, it creates these long, weird waiting periods where people are just unhappy and disenfranchised with formats. And the hype goes down, player counts go down, people just play different games. And there's also another factor into the scheduled BNR stuff, is that not only do people feel this way about formats, but also when you have scheduled BNRs, Wizards feels obligated to ban something or unban something and shake the format up. It's like it's so hard for them to feel like they can just comfortably do no changes. It's just such a net negative. Okay, I think I need to hold up Replicate Consign. Obviously don't like how much lands we're drawing. Moosey, Twitch Prime, thank you, welcome back. Gonna work here. They're so obsessed with scheduling because when they needed as needed announcements, the community threw a fit. I mean, this is true for sure. And I understand this dynamic. People complaining about the as needed. I will say, people will complain about no matter, like this is the problem also, like with what Wizards of the Coast does, is literally no matter what they say about anything, there's going to be a vocal percentage of the community that is upset about the direction. I'm sure there's people who are upset about me supporting as needed bans right now. But the problem is, the problem is I think they cave to this pressure like a little too much. And I don't know. Now I just think it's worse than it used to be. Okay, let's cast a Phoenix. That's a clock. Drawing another land is also very bad though. But at least it's like a haste enabler, so we don't have to feel as bad about casting this. We could draw Kiora maybe and get some of these lands out of our hand. Yeah, we might consign into Lrien Revealed. To play devil's advocate, I appreciate the schedule being ours, give time for the format to churn a bit and prevent reactionary ban decisions. Yeah, I mean, I agree. This is definitely the argument for it. If you support scheduled BNRs, you know, you're not alone. Okay, we're super dead to Tamashii. You're not alone. And this is just, you know, you're just on a different side of the issue, which is fine. Obviously, you know, maybe this goes without saying. Play a second Lantern over fourth Bauble. But for me, I definitely enjoy this less. I definitely like the schedule BNRs much less. Why was I dead there? So they get to make like 15 mana with Tamashii. They get to pick up a bunch of spells to cast with that mana. That is not something that is defeatable here. We could maybe have kept that because of the Kiora loot. I think I'm just supposed to go to 6. So tough to keep a hand without interaction. Okay, and here I think I'm putting back the FOMO, because Kiora is both a blue card and a bit of a more potent threat by itself. Actually, the argument should be less scheduled BNRs and more as needed. Wait, so the argument is to do both scheduled and as needed? I don't think that this really makes any sense, but we might as well shock in case you draw Scour or Lrien Revealed. But I mean, okay. I don't really understand why you would want to have both at the same time. Yeah, doing both is the same as just as needed bans, right? It's just as needed bans with like an extra step. You're gonna have a schedule still allowing for emergency bans is fine. Okay, I guess that's, you know, I agree. Emergency bans are so important and they're so needed, and I also say this: the whole the thing that Wizards is going for with the scheduled bans, letting people just enjoy the format and letting people worry about bans later. This is what they want. This is not what's happening. For like the last like 2 months, it's just been like just non-stop complaints about the ring, and also like people trying to predict what's going to happen and like going crazy. But if they remove the scheduled, you just kind of relax because there's no big event coming up for you to like dread. It's just like things can happen at any time. Okay, so I don't expect this Kiora to resolve, so I'm going to cast it instead of haste it. We can stop rambling for just a moment. They have 4 cards in their hand. There's a watch list. Hate is a strong word. I'm not a big fan of the watch list idea. I know that some formats do it. I don't really jive with it. Okay, so this did resolve. A second blue card would be great here. Not quite that lucky. Let's discard a Phoenix and discard the land. The excitement of the schedule does make the money. Could you elaborate on that? I don't exactly understand how that's true. I do think... Okay, so if I force the blue and they just go land Belcher, it's bad. Conversely, if they have to have untapped land Belcher for that, and this means a Tamashii is not nearly as big a problem, so I think I'm supposed to force. I mean, we have the Modern RC coming up, which is making a dread for BNR. It's mostly needed, or else it just comes Energy Ring RC. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're trying to accomplish with this argument, but I agree. Okay, they shoal. I will say this to some extent. It's like I think a lot of people are not acknowledging necessarily that Belcher is the best deck in Modern, or like it's really understanding that. Everyone is dooming about the ring, and everyone goes, the ring, you have to play ring or energy, ring or energy, ring or energy, ring in energy. And then, I don't know how the dialogue is never, but also a non-ring, non-energy deck is just also the best deck in the Modern. I don't know exactly if anyone will ever put the respect on Belcher's name. Let's play Goblins. I think I'm going to executive decision, play some Goblins. We will play some Kiora again, though.